Okay, welcome everybody. This is Brett Fogle from Moonstream, and we're going to be talking about the crypto markets here and our crypto mastery indicators, as well as how to really read the tea leaves in these markets. We did put out a trade alert last night to Retire Rich members and a couple of you and the coaching group for some coins that are on the hot list. We're going to look at some of those that are up nicely already today, which are indicators signaled. But most importantly, we're going to go through kind of what's moving and some news, etc. If you're new and you're watching us for the first time, this is our first live stream on YouTube. And so again, I'm Brett Fogle from Moonstream Crypto. You can find out more about us at moonstream.io. So with that, I just want to start off with the big news that's always on our minds right now, the ETFs, watching the ETF flows. And haven't seen a whole lot of inflows on this. I don't know that they're really updating this on Blockworks lately because we watched them go from 10 billion up to 26 billion or so. And what's interesting here is BlackRock and Fidelity are nipping at the heels of Grayscale, which has 27 billion, and it won't be long when they are going to overtake that. But in aggregate, all the ETFs are now more assets under management than Grayscale. Record outflows of Grayscale has been slowing down the markets, but fortunately, BlackRock and other places have been buying it up in records amounts as well. And I'm going to go over some news today with some very big buys on the horizon. A South American investment group planning to buy $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. So guys, number go up. I think that was the dip. So if you're asking yourself, was that the dip? That was the dip, everybody. Are we going to have more? Absolutely, but that was the dip we've been waiting for, and I'll just hop over to Bitcoin. So, we did not get this deeper dip here, and so that's not surprising with the amount of ETF money coming in. Let me jump over to a different chart, and of course, we'll look at these. But the IBIT also showing the IBIT is our leader in terms of money flow, especially with our ERI Pro indicators. So clearly we can see lots of buying and money flow coming into the IBIT right here in these green blocks. These other green blocks are our order block detectors. So a lot of buy orders, sort of limit buy orders at these levels. So we can see there's a lot of support under current levels on the ETF. 21 and 50 day EMAs. Sorry, this is the 4-hour time frame. We'll jump to higher time frames, but I've been watching the 4-hour as this sort of leader in the higher time frames. Just to zoom out a bit, when in doubt, zoom out. All the way back here, when the ETF first came out here, of course it dropped. No surprise there. Sell the news event. Kind of put this nice cup and handle pattern in and then broke out. You see this green arrow that I put on there when we broke above that $25 level on the BlackRock ETF. And then, of course, shot up here, saw buy blocks all the way up, big bullish engulfing candles, or just big buy candles, rather, not bullish engulfing, but breaking into new high levels and new sort of price discovery for the ETF. Certainly, that was a good indicator that led the market. And then our early reversal indicators also nailing the pivots down here. And then if we open up to our other core indicators, the TSI, that trend strength indicator going green down here on the 4-hour. So beautiful signal here, ERI, TSI, signal, and bell. That is our mantra. And that nailed, absolutely nailed that rapid rise on the IBIT. And of course, the IBIT is where they are buying spot Bitcoin ETF. So they're buying spot Bitcoin, right? So the difference, if you're new to all this, the ETF that came out around the high of the last market cycle was a futures ETF, which is cash settled. And it did not mean they had to go buy Bitcoin in the open market. But programmatically, the spot Bitcoin ETF means as money comes into BlackRock and Fidelity, it is automatically buying Bitcoin. That's the big difference. So once again, we're going to be watching very carefully these indicators, the ERI, TSI, Signal, and Bell, and in a moment we'll pull up our trade success checklist. So that's where you can, it's an interactive checklist where you can check these off. It'll give you a trade score, so you have a higher degree of probability and confidence that that trade will be going higher. And so as we saw back here, just to move this over to the right a bit, right in here, this ERI, we saw a double ERI, but the alignment of these four, this green arrow here, that's our early reversal indicator. And if you want to see the actual indicator, because some of you are a little bit more advanced traders, this is the actual indicator, but nobody wants to look at that. This is proprietary. It was an accidental discovery, and it was actually an amazing discovery because this is now our first thing, the first thing we look at, hence the name ERI, early reversal indicator. So we caught that down here, and once it confirms with this TSI going green and above 80 down there, That's typically our buy point, you guys. Many of you are in our M3 Active Trader group and Retire Rich and coaching. I'm going to, repetition is the mother of all learning. You've heard it 100 times. Just don't second guess these four indicators, and certainly when they align in the other elements in that trade success checklist, so we'll bring that up. And of course, the ERI Pro now showing order blocks in here, and we'll be looking at some of our new Pro indicators and how you can find out more about them if you're new to the channel here, and you can do that at cryptomastery.org. But just keep that in mind, these four. And of course, the bell is our trend indicator, a little longer follow through. Typically, the key shows a new trend is forming. The bell is our buy signal. And in this case, we're legging into positions as more of these align. Professional traders don't go all in and they don't go all out. They're slowly building positions and exiting positions, and that's what we want to do. So here, the bell, and then we follow the number sequence up to the bag of money, which is your sell signal, and then wait for a new trend to form and a new key in the bell, which we saw happen there. All right, so with that in mind, watching the IBIT here, we can look at higher time frames, but I just like that 4 hour, you guys. And so we can see, though, however, on the 12 hour, a lot of buying here in this recently. So this is getting bought up. We're seeing a key and a bell forming. So we want to be watching the daily now. So even on the daily, we look at this. We saw this huge buy block on the IBIT. Guys, I know it's very tricky to know where we're going to go here, because as I've been saying, we really should have a monthly green red candle. We've had 7 green monthly candles, you guys, and so this is historic. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 green monthly candles. So on the one hand, we want to have a monthly close over the 70 or the 66,000 in this range where we've put in a new high. We don't want a triple top. On the other hand, we'd like to see ideally some kind of a pullback to bounce from. So this is really tricky, but I think the ETF money wins. And the article we're going to get to shortly with this $1 billion potential buy coming in, as well as corporate accumulation, I think we do push higher because, guys, this time truly is different. And so just to point this out, we had 3 bullish monthly candles back here in the last market cycle. Is it possible that we do continue higher and on to 8 or even 9 monthly candles? We don't know. There should be some pullbacks along the way, but this is where we're going to have to keep changing our position here. Whereas last week I was saying, guys, I think we sell off in the end of March and then we rally in April. But so we really want to be watching this monthly candle to see what happens. But at this point, it does look very strong, and we see money flow coming in. The weekly now bullish engulfing. So if we close here this week, and let's see, the end of the month is coming up right around the corner. What day is it? The end of the month is going to be Sunday. So that's going to be very interesting to see. Watch the weekly candle on Sunday, because if it closes and it's bullish engulfing like this, and then we go higher, number go up. Okay, and then that'll be invalidated on that monthly time frame. So we're going to look at some other things here and other studies. I guess I'll dive right into it, and then we'll get to the news and some of our other signals here. But by the way, if you did want to find out more about our base signals here, that is the basis of everything we do here. You can go to cryptomastery.org. You can get a free month, everybody. If you sign up for 6 months, $97 a month, so $497 for 6 months. These give us a huge advantage, a huge edge. You can't afford to be trading without these. We'll talk about the average true range and some of the other indicators that are included in this bundle, and which you can see here. There are 6 indicators, including our radar screener, the dynamic ATR, and our volatility index, and plus the ones that I showed you. So we'll come back to that, you guys. I want to come in and just share with you on what I'm seeing on the weekly time frame. So we've been watching this on the RSI here. So this RSI on a monthly time frame, if we go to the monthly real quick, I saw it bounce off this level down around 40, so was not surprised to see that. I was talking about that back last year. Will we get to 40? It just seemed like a reasonable level to get to. We bounced right off of that 40 level, and of course in January, this is one of the signals I was using, telling people to get back into the markets in January of 2022. So we called the market bottom exactly around 16.5 all the way back in May. and that's sort of played out. So from there, it's been up and to the right. We have more upside on this. We want to be watching the monthly RSI and the weekly. So on a monthly time frame, we have more upside. When we get up into this zone here, and you can see I have an alert at 92, when we hit up these ranges, this is going to be around where we want to be taking profits on Bitcoin and the rest of crypto. On a weekly time frame, we did come up to this sort of 90 zone, saw a short-term pullback. This 88 area right in here has been a significant resistance level for a long time. And again, up above this 92 level, typically that is market cycle highs. So back here in January of 2021, so the RSI, so we saw a very early bearish divergence on that weekly time frame. Isn't that interesting? And so we'll be keeping an eye on that, you guys, in the take profit zone above 92 on that RSI weekly. Stochastics RSI, the problem with these indicators is this: everyone's using them. I still will pull them up for an overall gauge. A bit of a pullback on the Stochastics RSI weekly after spending some time up in here last year. So, we'd like to see a bounce up in this range. Certainly can stay up here for extended times. And also watching the money flow. Money flow a little bit delayed. I sort of squiggled this line here that we would come down and bounce. I imagine the money flow is already starting to turn on this weekly time frame. And on the monthly time frame, it's still playing catch up. So once the monthly close happens, we may have see that pull back down, and then I do think we see that come back up higher. So the nice thing about our ERI, these order blocks, though, this is more real-time money flow on these big blocks there. And so let's get back to what we were talking about, and then we'll look at DXY briefly and some of the other things we're watching. And of course, the MACD, I don't pay a whole lot of attention to this except for on the larger time frames. Still has a ways to go. We'll be watching it on the monthly, but certainly has quite a bit of room to run. We'll be watching, though, when we start seeing this bearish divergence on the monthly time frame, where we peaked on the MACD in April of 2021. Then we had that midsummer correction. We're going to want to be keeping an eye out for the midsummer correction, which also happened in 2022. Seems to be, the old saying, sell in May and go away for Wall Street. So probably going to see some of that since the ETFs, Bitcoin is largely a Wall Street product now. And by the way, did you see that Coinbase is now offering Bitcoin futures? Isn't that interesting? We're going to talk about that when I get to the news, but how they ran off all of the offshore platforms like Bybit and BitGet with all of their KYC rules. Why? Because they wanted to let Coinbase offer regulated futures and to play by the rules, but also there's a lot of money going on there. There's we may never know who's really pulling the strings with that. So anyway, point is, we had this nice parabola on the monthly MACD. So on this one, we have about 6 or 7 big green candles. Here we're in the 6th month. So let's say next month we see a big green monthly MACD in April going into the halving, and then let's say we start sort of easing off on this, prices will continue to go higher. We did call the market cycle top perfectly back here around November. I was saying get into cash as early as September, actually, in our M3 Active Trader group. I found a chat where I said, guys, I think we should start getting into cash here. And increasingly we're saying that when this crossover happened, I was saying pounding the table, get into cash, everybody. And that was at the right at the top, Jan 2022. So the point is, we'll be watching that for these to start peak out. And of course, we'll be watching other things like the Pi Cycle Top. And you can follow me on TradingView, where I've published various studies on this. On the Pi Cycle Top, we've projected around where we think it's going to be. And I'll pull up some of those numbers as well. And we do cover that in more detail on our M3 Active Trader class. You can find out more about our services, by the way, at moonstream.io, including this class here, which is the Crypto Mastery free live classes on Tuesdays. We're going to start live streaming these on YouTube. And this here, our M3 Active Trader group, we do classes like these every Wednesday, a little bit more in depth, and these include our indicators, and so you can learn more about that and how to get daily access to me 24/7 in a private Signal chat to ask questions. I do trade alerts, etc. And so again, you can read more about that at moonstream.io M3. There's a members area and other bonuses that you get. Also trader cheat sheets, high probability candlestick patterns, DCA investing worksheets, portfolio trackers, high probability trading patterns, etc. And yes, I actually do trade. There's me and my Bitcoin hat. Doing this on a daily basis all day, every day, and hanging out with my boy, Jay Powell, at the Bitcoin conference. Okay, everyone, back to the charts. Enough about that. Let's do this here. I want to get to the news, and we'll come back to this, what I see for crypto, and we'll look at some of the coins that we're following and any hot movers. I do have our hot movers list up here somewhere. And where did that thing go? Here it is, top movers. So we'll look at some of these. We have found some really good opportunities on the hot movers, like ATOR back in October, shot up a couple 100%. Before we do that, and I will talk about this halving pattern here and some other things that I'm watching there. So we'll come back to this, you guys. Let's see. Any questions, first of all? And Leslie's saying, very nice to be live here again. Thank you, thank you. And Mary says, Brett, your analysis is so valuable that I'm calling in from Aruba. Oh, thank you, Mary. Have a pina colada and a Mai Tai for me. And send us a picture with your... if you have your M3 hat on, that would be fun. So, all right, you guys, let's see. I need to pull over some things from somewhere else. And by the way, yeah, we did just put together a 2024 hot list. I was working late last night, and I can tell you how you can get a copy of this. Some of these are up nicely already today. The biggest gainers, I think, for this coming cycle. That was the dip, like I said. I'm pretty sure that was the dip. All right, you guys, let me move this over here, and let's go over some news, shall we? So starting with Goldman Sachs, and let's see, hedge fund clients are piling back into crypto this year. And as always, I will just warn you that a lot of the news is media. A lot of the media is placed, 80% of it. So always have a little bit, a healthy dose of skepticism, but not paranoia. But a healthy dose of paranoia has served me well in business and in crypto. So we want to always be a little bit aware of who might be placing the media and who's behind it. But for the most part, this is an interesting headline. Goldman Sachs hedge fund clients piling back into crypto this year. And let's see, institutional clients at Goldman's Asia Pacific arm showing renewed interest in Bitcoin, Ether, other assets. I had heard that Asia was piling into crypto. So this news sounds legit. And so we'll continue reading. I'm also looking over here. $6 billion worth of Bitcoin moved by fifth richest Bitcoin whale. The point is, where did it move? Did it move on exchange or off exchange? We'll have to see what that says. Let's see. 5 dangers beware when aping the Solana meme coins. Just scanning the headlines, you guys. And let's see. Grayscale tips Ether ETF approvals despite SCA lack of engagement. So certainly that's interesting because, and I'll just talk about that because I postulated last year. How many of you guys remember in the M3 Trader? It was last year sometime, about mid-year, so maybe about 9 months ago, I postulated, it is certainly in the cards that the SEC could come back. Old man Gensler come back and say, hey guys, even though I said Ether and Bitcoin are not securities, well then Ether pulled a fast one, didn't they? They changed from proof of work to proof of stake. And so therefore possibly a security. So I think that's going to be a roadblock or a delay tactic anyway for them getting approved by the SEC as an ETF. So I think what happens is, we were saying that was the next trade to front run the ETH ETF. And people may be doing that, but I think what's going to happen, because, follow the money. I think that narrative will start pushing higher, and then they'll probably deny it, and then it'll tank ETH a little bit, and that'll be the time to buy, because they will get it approved. This is just my spidey sense. And maybe Solana gets in there first. I'm also thinking, because here's why. I know we're getting off the topic of the headlines here, but Solana's venture-backed, a lot of big VCs behind it who are very friendly with BlackRock and Larry Fink over there. So I would not be surprised to see a Solana ETF slide in there first in that May timeframe, maybe summer, and then ETH get pushed off a little bit later. So before we unpack this grayscale, what they're saying, and I opened up that tab. We'll look at that next. But that's kind of what I'm saying, suggesting. Just a theory. New information equals new decision, and I reserve the right to be wrong, as always. All right, but usually I'm right, more often than not. Anyway, Goldman Sachs. Let's see, clients. I think we unpacked the headline pretty well here. Exploring or getting active. This is good news. Goldman Asia Pacific When they say getting active in air quotes, by the way, when you hear that Asia is going active, the mentality is very gambling friendly. And I remember when I was in crypto back in 2018 over in San Diego, and I knew that a lot of that market was being driven by Asia because my dentist, they're all Korean out there, was we were talking about crypto, and he was all into the degen meme coins, and he was heavy into the degen cryptos and meme coins, and I think he lost a lot. But that's the mentality. When I used to speak internationally, did you know that the Marina Sands Casino, huge building, 3 towers with they've built like a cruise ship on top. It looks like a cruise ship. Amazing infinity pool overlooking the bay. They do more volume in that one casino than all of Las Vegas. Keep that in mind, you guys. A huge gambling mentality. So let's see. We'll also look at this Bitcoin ETF sees $15 million comeback. We saw that. We just saw that visually, right, in that IBIT that I just showed you. So if you're not following the IBIT, follow the IBIT on TradingView on 4-hour time frames. And if you want to get access to those money, the new Pro Pack indicators, we don't even have a sales page for it yet. We do have a lifetime special. That's at moonstream.io/Mastery Pro. Hit me up in the chat. I'll pull it up in a minute. Guys, I'm not here to shield things on you. We're here to give you the tools to succeed. And we've built those indicators to give you those tools. And they're better than anything out there. They can be used in conjunction with anything out there. So you don't need to ditch whatever you're using, your cipher beads and all that other things. I find that visually confusing. But you can keep your MACDs and your Fibonacci's and all that. These work in conjunction with those, as we showed you. Back to the news. Bitcoin or Minton added much of the increased appetite for cryptocurrency stems from the approval of 10 new ETFs in the U.S. Now, they're also about to launch Hong Kong-based ETFs. So, guys, with the amount of money that's about to flow in, especially from those Asian countries, and this is that's intended to be any racist comments, but a lot of money in Asia, Singapore, Hong Kong, and a lot of China money in Hong Kong so that they can invest. And so keep that in mind. That money's still largely on the sidelines. We also have nation-state sovereign wealth funds. I'm hearing Qatar is starting to buy, China's starting to buy. We don't really know because they don't share the stats. Okay, China, that, hey, maybe they'll ban Bitcoin again and drop the price for us in the summer. That would be fun because then we can pick it up on sale. So, but anyway, this here, resurgence of interest and activities and from our clients. Keep in mind, gambling mentality, number go up. So, it's looking more and more like a blow off top. I will show you some targets. I've recently increased my high targets on Bitcoin over 210,000, and I'll show you why. So stick around till the end and make sure if you're watching this, please like the video and subscribe. We're kind of new here on this, so it really would help us get the word out if you like what we're sharing here with you today. So thanks in advance. Goldman Sachs, 2.8 trillion in assets under management. That's huge, a trillion. So I will go back to that interview that I talked about with Cathie Wood and her partner, who is also a brilliant lady that's running the ETF there. And she said, listen, people are not used to institutional money. The crypto industry, we're not used to trillions of dollars. That's 3 zeros. So she's like, imagine what 3 extra zeros will do to these markets. And I'm not trying to layer in on hype and FOMO, but if we saw 10 billion come in, originally 10 billion from Fidelity and BlackRock, raise the price of Bitcoin by $10,000. Okay, imagine 1 trillion, so times, add a zero, okay, and that would be $100 billion, right? So that 100 billion, so a trillion would be 2 extra zeros. So instead of 10,000, that would be 100,000. That's how that would be $1 million potentially. That's how Cathie Wood and Michael Saylor are getting to $1 million Bitcoin. Okay, so that would be $1 trillion. Now they're saying Goldman Sachs reported 2.8 trillion assets under management. Won't all go into crypto, but over time it will. And I did hear under the radar from somebody I won't name, whose brother, I know it's a friend of a friend of a friend, unconfirmed, was at the BlackRock, one of the BlackRock private meetings where they're increasing their allocation to Bitcoin, and one of their other funds, they're going to be allocating some of those funds, I believe, into the IBIT and or Bitcoin. Either way, Bitcoin go up. We also know this is going higher because MicroStrategy surged like 20% the other day, everybody. So what we're seeing there is, I think that's institutional money or offshore money. Now, why are they buying MicroStrategy and not the ETF? Anybody? For extra credit, what do you think? Well, stocks pay dividends, you guys. So as a surrogate for Bitcoin, we know that Michael Saylor is putting a lot of his own company money is out of the treasury into Bitcoin. They're floating convertible notes, Series A and senior notes, 700 million, 600 million, 500 million. They're pouring it in, as well as their profits, to pay down the debt service, but also to buy more Bitcoin. As people buy more MicroStrategy, number goes up, they float more notes. Do you see where this is going, you guys? So there's a really interesting video actually out there by Camel Finance. Some of you heard me talk about some of his. He's got good analysis, and we'll hashtag him down below. But postulating how humans are not designed to think in terms of geometric growth. Gave an analogy of if you doubled to fill Wembley Stadium with water, and if you did a drop of water every minute, and you doubled it every minute, how many minutes would it take to fill the stadium? And it's something like 44 minutes, you guys, to fill Wembley Stadium because of the geometric growth. So it's an interesting hypothesis that we start to see that with Bitcoin. But anyway, at any rate, either way, we're going to be looking mostly to get out at the top of the market cycle using our indicators, and we got it right last time, you guys. So don't be out there in the cold without having an advantage, having an edge with our Crypto Mastery indicators. Again, that's cryptomastery.org. And the pro indicators will pull up in a minute. So let's see. So now here's the thing where this is going. Notably, currently Goldman does not offer spot crypto products to its clients, despite having launched trading desk. And so what does that mean? That means Goldman's getting ready. They don't want to be late to the party. And so here we've seen a pickup in interest from clients onboarding pipeline volume the beginning of the year. And I assume that means crypto. So Goldman clients primarily using their derivatives to gain exposure to crypto. So that's also true. We're going to see more and more adoption on the derivatives side because now Coinbase, I'll unpack that and do a video tour of how to trade futures on Coinbase. Not that we suggest that or using margin, but you guys have access to that now. And we'll start to see probably a little more volatility based on those derivatives. And that's a whole nother video. At any rate, all right, SEC trying to pour cold water on this. Crypto markets need disinfectant. I guess it's worth hearing what Gensler has to say. We'll skim that. Let's just see peg chances, ETF approval here. Just 35%. ETF analyst peg chances of Ether approval. Yeah, so basically, this is looking less and less likely right now. Eric Balkunas, who's a very well-respected analyst here, basically lowering his estimates down to 35%. It's not zero, though, and and as I said, long-term, we think it'll happen. So I think that is just a later. It's not a no, it's a not right now. And let's see, magazine. Let's see, Bitcoin ETFs make Coinbase a honeypot for hackers and governments. Be very careful, everybody. A lot of scams happening. And if you get contacted by anybody claiming to be Coinbase, be very leery. They don't reach out to you first, and you should always Google the phone number and call it back. So just be careful with that. All right, we covered that pretty well. How are we doing on time here? About half an hour in. So let's jump to the next article. So $6 billion worth of Bitcoin moved by the fifth richest Bitcoin whale. And the question is, which way? Funds haven't moved since 2019 when the whale address received them. So amazing that whale held all these. So we want to be kind of careful of this. This whale might be about to dump. So the question is, let's see, they moved to 3 new address from where? So entire balance in the address. I assume it's from a cold storage, but it doesn't say where it went. And where did it go? It's not talking about this. Arkham Finance kind of showing this. Maybe we can open that up here. It's not giving us, so it's a wallet address, you guys. I can't really see what that's saying. What we want to know is it going toward an exchange or not? Because that would indicate they were about to sell some of this. Let's see, Bitcoin halving coming in, and of course, the Bitcoin halving, all of this leading toward decreased supply. If we have time, we will go over the study, the revised study. Remember, I have a new one of why we'll be hitting those same numbers. If you are familiar with my 10 reasons why we'll go to 100,000, 155,000, 210,000 Bitcoin, I have a new study showing the chart pattern, a fractal pattern that shows exactly those levels also, and even up higher to, I'll reveal where I think we go and could go this cycle. So let's see. Sounds like that this whale trying to maybe sell near this market top, but I think that'd be a mistake. And unless I missed something, it's not saying where they moved the 6 billion Bitcoin over to. So that's a bit of disappointment. We'd like to know where did it go. This is the same article, you guys. And so March, if any of you know this, go ahead and look it up. If any of my members know this, go find out where did where do they move it to? Because we don't incoming supply. I'm assuming, yeah, this is going on to an exchange. Despite the reaching all-time high, the incoming supply. Usually, supply means it's available to sell. But it could also be hitting the OTC exchange. Why would just exchange? Let's see, have resumed accumulate. It's not clear. Bit supply 9-year low. So this is important too, you guys. Bitcoin supply hitting a 9-year low means more demand shock, supply shock. All these things are leading up to a blow off top, you guys. And where did that see this? I just saw it. Investors resumed accumulating off exchanges. Supply on Bitcoin reach a 9-year low. Okay, so that means with all this buying and supply going down, price has to go up. That's what that means. Okay, guys, let's keep going. Grayscale tips Ether ETF approval despite SEC lack of engagement. The case is as strong as it was for the spot Bitcoin. Grayscale chief legal officer. Now, why would he be saying that? Always question these things. Does Grayscale have an ETH trust? Maybe they're trying to prevent. Well, they don't. That wouldn't make sense. So maybe they're planning of creating their own ETF. Let's see. Spot Ether exchange traded funds will be approved. They're betting in May, despite the chatter. So, you guys, I just don't know on that. We'll have to keep an eye on how that develops. But I would suggest that if we start to see and hear rumors that that's going to go higher, it still might be a good trade, a buy the rumor, sell the news type of trade. So keep an eye on that. I'm a big fan of ETH, long-term holder, ETH and Solana, my biggest long-term in my IRA. I'm slanted heavier on Solana, to be honest. So this person saying not deterred by that, believing ETFs should be approved. Let's see, the chief legal officer, somebody. So anyway. Let's see. I feel differently to get closer, so we'll have to keep an eye on this, you guys. And it's figured out. So he's saying basically a lot of the issues were figured out, but how does he know? He may not have all the details, obviously. So basically, such information as creation, redemption procedures, cash. So these are issues that did come up, and they had to scramble all the ETFs on the Bitcoin ETF, and they got around it. So let's say, basically saying the lack of chatter is due to a lot of these issues were solved on the Bitcoin ETF, potentially. Okay. Well, let's see. However, ETF issuers looking to incorporate staking in their spot ETF would have an additional issue to hash out. So staking being a new issue, those applicants include ARK, Fidelity, and Franklin. Let's see. And of course, we said Balcuna saying lack of engagement. But they're saying above that maybe because a lot of this has already been hashed out. So that's the TLDR on all this. Let's see, SEC probe, lack of, et cetera, et cetera. We'll skim all this. And so here's a deadline coming up. Must decide on Van X application by May 23rd. So that's maybe earlier. And analysts predict all applicants will learn their fate. So May 23rd, mark your calendars. That's when we might, I say might, hear the news on a Bitcoin an ETH ETF, right? So, and I think that's all we want to unpack here. That's all I can see that we haven't already talked about. So moving right along, crypto markets needs disinfectant, says the SEC chair on, old man guns are implied. Many market participants prefer to whittle away at the SEC's disclosure regime. Blah, blah, blah. I think I just want to skim this, you guys, because we know he is not a huge proponent of this. Crypto regulation, does Gary have the final say? Well, we know he doesn't. The courts do. And I do want to get moving on the news, though, because we do have this XRP news that the SEC is filing a $2 billion lawsuit. So let's see, but it is worth noting and weighing the pros and cons. Let's see, we've got this Gensler here. That looks terrible. Let me change that a little bit. But here, SEC chairman recently said almost all cryptos will be regulated as securities. And so this is, notable. The problem is at any point they could drop that bomb again and it'll be a short-term blip on the radar. And markets don't like uncertainty, so that will certainly sell off the markets again. But as you've heard me say 100 times, show me the charts, I'll tell you the news. We want to be careful when price kind of gets up in those higher ranges of the trend channel. And like I said, when we broke 72, 73K and it hovered there like a good old-fashioned Chinese weather balloon, just ready to be shot down, sure enough, we saw a lot of dumping in that area. So just remember, when price sort of stagnates, the buyers are exhausted. All it takes is a little catalyst to drop and dump price. Those are opportunities for us to take some profits and buy back lower. So maybe this, I'm just throwing it out there, maybe this is a future dip. We have another round of SEC Sphere and FUD from SEC Chair Gensler as we get up to those higher highs. Maybe it's the 80,000. Just throwing it out there. Maybe 80,000. Some people speculating that's the market cycle high. I believe they're wrong, but we could see a pullback there just because some people will be taking profits based on that study that went around. I don't think that's accurate, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Questions remain whether it's an accurate statement and if the agency is regulating tokens by enforcement. Well, that's a narrative that we certainly have seen. They are regulating by enforcement. So, we just have to be kind of careful. Keep in mind that these altcoins are on the radar, have been on the radar of the SEC. And if they say that it's a crypto security, we just don't know. Is the CFTC going to come in and save the day and say these are commodities? By the way, just to jump back to the ETH narrative. So even though it's the SEC, there was an article by the other day, I think, launched on Coinbase, saying that SEC is suggesting ETH now as security, like I was proposing 9 months ago or so. The CFTC, though, saying that's ridiculous. ETH is a commodity. So this is still going to be a very interesting narrative. We'll have to see how that plays out because if it's ruled a security, then SEC, is it their jurisdiction? Is it the CFTC's jurisdiction? These battle lines are still being drawn, everybody, and we're still in the wild, wild west of crypto. It's both the good news and the bad news. Is Gensler right that most cryptos must meet the Howey test? And, attorney does not believe all cryptos. This attorney here, an attorney somewhere, doesn't matter, believe that, attorneys are like opinions, which are like armpits. Everyone seems to have one, and, you've heard that before. Anyway, not that attorneys aren't useful in certain situations. They just tend to complicate things unnecessarily at times. Does not believe that all cryptos meet the Howey test. He's a former state federal prosecutor who now represents corporations and individuals facing civil criminal charges of crypto fraud, securities, and other crimes. So, this is one of the good guys. Within reason. They're all out there. They're all money motivated, for sure. Some of them are more reputable. My favorite type of attorney, you guys, is a recovering attorney. Yeah, anyway. Howey test is not clear, 1946. So I won't get too far into this, but he's suggesting, would Chairman Gensler, if the United States launched a digital currency, would it pass the Howey test, or would that be a security? So that's an interesting bit of news there, and a postulation to push Gensler back on his heels a bit. Feel free to Google this. I'm not going to go into this any deeper. Let's keep going. Bitcoin, Ethereum, ETNs. ETN is that? What is that exactly? Yeah, maybe like an ETF. And to debut on Bitcoin, stock in London Stock Exchange. So Bitcoin and Ethereum, ETN. What's an ETN, everybody? I have not heard that before. And let's see. Okay, some new news. Some Bitcoin traders anticipating price below 50K. Options data. Guess what? Your options are about to get blown out. I don't think that's we're heading there. I don't think that at all. But yeah, we're coming into the halving, you guys. I just don't see that. I think that's some FUD there, but we'll take a look at it. If the open interest is massively in favor of that, I think that's a wipeout event for those people buying puts. Let's keep going. Let's see. Exchange traded notes. I assume that's like an exchange traded fund. So there you go. These are going live here May 28th. So more number go up. But if we were to get a look, if we got a dip down in the 50K regions, that would be a good buying opportunity. It's not happening anytime soon. We're going higher here at least, I think this week, next week. And it really depends on can we hold above 74, 75K, and that'll really depend and determine where we go. Bullish weekly candle means we go up. That's my read on that, and we'll look at our indicators as well. So you guys get it already. Like exchange traded funds, ETMs offer exposure, different structure, blah blah blah. Not that important. Most of them are going to go in the U.S. based ETFs. Let's see. The Bitcoin halving cycle might play out differently. 21 Shares says. We'll skim these, you guys. We're going as fast as we can. And we'll get to the hot movers. Bitcoin traders anticipate price drop below 50K. That's what the option data shows. But I don't know. That could also be a lot of hedging, right? These ETFs, they're probably buying puts to hedge their positions. So I don't. This is by somebody that may or may not be qualified to make this. Again, the media is placed, especially with derivatives. Who owns Crypto Briefing? Who knows? This is where I put my tin hat on, everybody. Remember, I will remind you back when Cointelegraph accidentally leaked that the Bitcoin ETF had been approved. Price pumped and then dropped sharply when the news was determined to be false, and it was blamed on an intern. Well, you know what? I know that Cointelegraph was bleeding financially through an internal employee who's no longer there, who would have known. And I said to him, what do you think about the owners of Cointelegraph floating that false rumor, being leveraged long Bitcoin, and then dumping into retail, pumping into this, and going leverage short on that? And he said, pretty much, quote, "It would not surprise me at all." Owners of Cointelegraph, not to get myself in any trouble, a great product, but what I heard, what I'm suggesting, postulating, is that might have been the case. They are Russian owned, and there's no repercussions on those things. So my point is, these media companies like Crypto Briefing, no idea who they are, no idea who this Diego Alameda Lopez is. Maybe it's legit, maybe it isn't, but who's behind pushing the media placement here? Demand for Bitcoin ETFs has begun to wane. And so, maybe it's legit, maybe it isn't, but I've never heard of these guys before. So Bitcoin traders preparing for potential extended decline in the token's price. Also, always check the dates on this. This was March 22nd. This is old news, you guys. And let's see. I got to turn something off over here. This is old news, you guys. So we're at March 26th. So we've now pushed up higher. I bet you, if that's the case, these guys are covering their shorts and trying to get out of this. And it's driving price higher. So the put call ratio. So this is where open interest comes in. Some of you may know or may not remember. I'm the founder of Options University. Back in 2004, we taught tens of thousands of traders, investors worldwide how to trade options and forex. So the put call ratio, the shift, basically, it's a key indicator of market sentiment. If there's more puts than calls, they're betting on prices going lower and preparing for a potential drop. That doesn't mean they're right. That's just a big old gamble or hedging. If they might have a whole metric shit ton long Bitcoin and they want to hedge against a drop, that would usually make sense. So the strike prices of these put options clustered around 50,000 and the 45K on the platform. So but look, they're closing those positions now as we push higher, I would imagine. So at any rate, spot ETF inflows data of yesterday showed, however, all right, we're getting in the weeds here, you guys. Yeah, but here we go. Over 218 in bullish bets Okay, this is old news though. So we know at these key inflection points, this is what if you're new to crypto and you're wondering why there's so much uncertainty, that's where the market makers are making their money at these key inflection points. They're liquidating longs and shorts. There was $1 billion, billion with a B, in a 24-hour period when we broke up above 70,000 that last time. And initially, they pumped it up, and the shorts, it was hovering around 70K, 72K. Shorts layered in heavily on leverage, and then they dropped it, liquidating like $400 or $500 million in the shorts, right? And then I'm sorry, they went long. I got it wrong. People went long first as we were breaking the new highs, right? And then they dropped it heavily and liquidated the longs. Everyone piled into the short positions, right? We had the big red candle, and then they pushed it higher again and liquidated the shorts. So just keep in mind and be careful at those inflection points, because that's what's happening. It's also happening in the derivatives market as well. So it's an epic battle of these Wall Street traders and institutions trying to hedge their bets, and also using leverage. Okay, so slowing down a little bit, I just want to get through it quickly. I think we've covered most of this. In this article, let's see, this told Bloomberg, I want to make sure it's encompassing the FOMC dovish stance. And, funding rates. Let's not get into funding rates and perpetual futures. That's another indication that, like the put call ratio, funding rates, when funding rates go a lot higher, it's showing there's a lot more leverage in the system, more demand for derivative products like the perpetual futures. If you've traded derivatives, you're paying a premium to borrow that money to go short or go leverage long. As those premiums go higher, it shows higher demand for leverage, meaning more and more leverage, right? So at these frothy premiums, it's much more of a target, because these market makers and the bigger players, they can see there's platforms. We have a simple version of it that I'll just pull up here. We have our buy block indicators that you can see in these zones, these green and red zones. These are buy and sell orders. And these have been very accurate here. These are part of our M3 Active Trader suite here. I can toggle that on and off. We show you that. And other things I'll get back to later, including these Bollinger Bands, which are color-coded and pretty cool. Point is, the professional traders use real-time heat maps of these buy and sell blocks, including liquidations. And so, therefore, they are looking for liquidity. This is kind of a master class here. We're going a little deeper. Normally, we talk about these things in our M3 Active Trader class, as well as total market cap and the DCAs. Sorry, the the total market cap, the Dixie, etc. So, if you like what you're seeing today and you do want to dive deeper, including coin picks, check out moonstream.io/M3. Okay, and you can find more about that. But anyway, point is that these market makers are targeting and gunning for these heavy liquidation levels, and where the stop losses are, but really the liquidation levels. Because if they can go wipe out a whole lot of these leverage long people, funding rates are higher, is what indicates there's a lot of liquidity at these ranges. Got it? Okay, so let's just see. And then Monday, 582 million in long liquidations, total liquidation over 738 million. So they're just talking about these whipsaws where they're liquidating margin traders. Dangerous game. Be careful with that. This Bitcoin halving cycle. This Bitcoin halving cycle might play out differently. 21 shares says. Let's see why they might say that. And cool graphic there. Bitcoin chilling there in the living room. AI is amazing, by the way. These are all AI created, by the way, if you're not familiar with Midjourney, things like that. Amazing technology. But on that point, I will just remind everybody, the market makers are not people anymore. They are advanced algorithms, AIs, you are trading against. That's why day trading, very dangerous. Margin trading, very dangerous. Think of it this way. Remember that the world's best chess player 20 years ago was beaten by an AI 20 years ago. Okay, so that just tells you how advanced this technology is. There are millions and millions being spent by the most sophisticated AI developers who are selling these AIs to hedge funds, institution funds. And I've actually shared an article before where one of these companies says their AI can provide superior returns to their institutional clients. What does that mean? That means whipping your ass, taking your money and my money, taking money from the little guy, giving it to the big guy. Whereas we're like Robin Hood. We're trying to take money from the big guys and give it back to the little guys. That's what we do here. And so anyway, that's certainly what our goal is, to help you guys, give you the edge with the indicators and the training that we do here. Okay, let's just see. This cycle halving might see earlier rally compared to previous ones. Okay, guys, I've been saying this for a year now, and to give credit where credit was due, Bob Lucas with the K was sort of postulated that on Twitter last year, and so my analysis, we've been watching the 10 factors that could push Bitcoin to 100,000, 150,000 with a left translated skew. That is certainly possible. So, and this is, let me just see if I can pull that up, you guys, because I think it's a good segue and time to do that. I don't think I have that queued up here on these charts. I'll have to dig that up for you guys. Hang on a second. Do we have that ready? That is a different. Oh, here it is. Yeah. So here's a spoiler alert. This is what I'm going to share with you. This is a new study showing these levels. But if we go over to the price, not this one here, and I know it's on here somewhere, y'all. And we're going to talk about the halving cycle. This one. These are my 10 factors that are already starting to play out. BlackRock and ETFs pumping money into Bitcoin. We did not see number 2. The bank term funding program ended, but it did not cause bank failures like we saw outright. We do think, I think there's some QE happening under the radar there. We're going to see QE money printing, but we are seeing this corporate accumulation. MicroStrategy, certainly, and there's a wallet associated with Tesla that is being shown as accumulating Bitcoin. Not confirmed, but that's the rumor. And then country accumulation adoption. I have a news article that kind of leans toward this, and that's that $1 billion buy that's coming in. I need to go quickly. I have so much to cover. And then, of course, the post-halving reduced miner selling supply being cut in half at the halving. All these things leading toward a likely left-translated cycle and going higher sooner, possibly this year. 155K Bitcoin by November. Could it happen? This bar's pattern stretched out a little bit. It certainly could happen, and I think it could be even higher this year, certainly into 2025. So stick around to the end. I do want to talk about this new study that I did, and let's just jump back to the news though. But that's that left translated cycle. So it's starting to gain more traction, meaning whereas prior cycles we've gone up after the halving. I guess I should bring this up here now. Where is it? It's this one. So this is that halving cycle chart, which we've been watching. This is an image. This is pure speculation, but I've drawn these cycles here. Prior halvings, then price pushes higher. Prior halving here, kind of so sideways into the halving, then we pumped up into the peaks, right? So that's the last 2 cycles. However, we are pushing higher on price before the halving. And so that shows us sort of pushing up into this here. If the halving is going to be where in April, we're pushing up right into it, getting a little bit into it. So that would show a left translated cycle here. I haven't drawn this very well, by the way. This should be a perfect parabola, and it wasn't. So maybe we'll redo that study. But anyway, that's kind of what they're saying. And maybe we peak early. Okay, by the way, let me just see if there's any chat here, any questions. And let's see, live again, so good. Say pulling back on this news. Yeah, I saw that, David. The things are pulling back. So DOJ, KuCoin prosecution. I mean, I don't know. That's not really material. It might be impacting Asia prices and dumping prices there, but KuCoin's kind of already been on the outs. I mean, we're not allowed to trade there anyway, so it's not going to be U.S. clients dumping. Let's see, people sharing on ETNs. Thank you, Perry. David saying Max Payne right now could be to go higher and wipe out the shorts. And then let me do this here. I got to pop out the chat. Maybe I'll share that so you guys can see it. There you go. Let's see. We've got ETNs. Max Payne would be to go higher and wipe out the shorts. And then dip to wipe out the longs. It's certainly true, David. But I also think and I'm just going on my spidey sense here that theory, it's the boy who cried wolf. We did that last time. So I think there's a fair amount of people waiting on the sidelines for that to happen, to buy the dip, and they are so convinced because of our innate human confirmation bias that, especially men. How many times, guys, have you stuck to your guns even in the face of incontrovertible proof that you were wrong and an argument with your wife? There you go. That's how we're wired. We seek, the old saying, if the only thing you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Point being that I think there's a lot of people waiting on the sidelines, and even in the Facebook groups, my other crypto experts they are still saying 50K, 58K. I don't think so. Reserve the right to be wrong. Anything could happen. Russia could launch a missile over here, and just anything could happen, you guys. But I'm not seeing that. I'm going on record saying we go higher, and the max pain is all these people waiting for the dip are going to chase this thing out of FOMO above 75K, and then we push to 80K, and then the buying dips again. I think that's what happens. But the next dip, I think we push straight to 100, and I'll show you why. Just based on the charts. So Leslie's saying, thank you for the truth. You're welcome, Leslie. So let's see. Let me just kind of skim through this here. If we are selling off, then we'll look at that. But, KuCoin, not a major factor in these markets. So let's just jump over here. Let's see. EU takes a major step in crypto regulation. This would be more likely cause of sell-off on if EU is selling into regulation, I think. But in the end, guys, regulation is good for the markets, because more regulation ostensibly will mean no more FTXs, no more BlockFis, and Celsiuses, and the bad black marks that give crypto a bad name. And once that money's vaporized, it's gone. Like, I'm surprised all this money is still out there coming into this market. I'm happily surprised. But anyway, there's 60 FTX wiped out $60 billion. And then poor Sam's asking for a due sentence, doesn't think he should have that much time in jail. It's partially true. He might have been the useful idiot and the patsy that regulators maybe wanted this to happen. You never know. And maybe they'll quietly let him sneak out of his tummy under Alcatraz to go play tennis at nearby resorts, just as a thank you to Sam. Who knows, you guys? But just speculating there. But anyway, let's keep going, guys. Altcoins gearing up to outperform Bitcoin. So here's the thing, too. I also agree that if Bitcoin stalls, we could see money easily go into the altcoins. And again, I put together a list of 20 more coins yesterday that our signals are showing are about to really pump higher. And one of them already up 10% today. It looks very good. This guy's pretty good. Michael Van de Pop. It's got a cool name as well. Altcoins gearing up to outperform Bitcoin, and so in following the very healthy correction, it was a small but good one. And by the way, Web3 base layer, I'm sorry, that's not what I meant. We're not going to have time to talk about Coinbase's new base layer. I'm going to talk about that in M3 tomorrow. Really interesting new platform, and I think it's really going to see some big movement there. Anyway, my widely followed trader Michael Van de Pop says altcoins position to witness massive rallies. I agree. And certainly in certain sectors, we've identified the hot sector of this cycle. We've been talking about that in M3 Active Trader for months, and many of my hot picks are in there. And we released to our Retire Rich traders yesterday about 20 coins, all looking good here. Let's see. Analyst calls his 700,000 followers. That's impressive. So he's saying the total 3 chart, that is the total market cap minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. So it's sort of the total altcoin market. We can look at that. And so anyway, seeing a lot of strength in the altcoin market. Certain ones. There's some leaders in gaming and AI for sure, and some degen coins. Looking at weekly candles across markets, we're really bottoming out. So that's look interesting there. Our indicators show us that. Our indicators, by the way, are fractal. So I love using the ERI TSI on a weekly time frame, a monthly time frame. That's how I called the market cycle bottom in January of 2021, almost exactly. In fact, to the month, it was exact. So where do we want to go to show that? I need to hop over here just to show you that real quick, y'all. So where would that be on the monthly time frame here when we put on the ERI chart, right? So look at this right there. Look at this monthly chart, early reversal indicator right there in January of 2023. I was saying it's time to get back in these markets. How many of you were there? My M3 members are here. They remember this indicator is only fired 4 times in the history. And now we didn't develop it back then, but in retrospect, I get it. Hindsight's 2020, but it shows you that the ERI on a monthly time frame called the near cycle bottom every time. Here, Jan 2023, right here, just coming out of the 2018-2019 dip, and down here in 2015, and even down here in 2012, you guys. It's the only time that bullish ERI, so you need to have this indicator. It works great on the monthly, on the bullish monthly daily, and it works great on the weekly because it also fired. By the way, this is how we're going to know when this cycle's over. Want to see how? Here's how. Right here, bearish engulfing candle, bearish early reversal indicator, bearish TSI cross. TSI is not on this chart, but I'll show that to you. And that's what we're watching for. That's it. That's it. Doesn't have to be difficult. And we'll be watching kind of the monthly, but let me just go back to show you guys. Some of you are new. By the way, please like the channel if you like what you hear, and subscribe, turn on the little bell thing so you get notified of our new videos, because we're going to be going live, like I said. But look at this right here. I've circled it. Bearish ERI on the weekly, bearish engulfing candle, and our trend strength indicator going from green to red. That's it. Well, we see that. It's time to get out of the markets. We called the market top here. We called the bullish pullback. We had a green arrow and nailed the week to the day to the week. July 21st, or sorry, the July 2021 summer bottom. Remember, we had that big sell-off going into May, June, July. We were like, what is going on? We caught the bounce. ERI, TSI green. So you could have avoided a 50% drop here and caught this nice little bounce from the bottom up to the top, all right, 100% gain, and then avoided another series of 50% drops just with these early reversal indicators, you guys. It's not as hard as people make it out to be. We have superior technology. These are developed by a quant engineer, 25-year trader, and programmer. How often do you see the same? Most people are programmers hired by traders to build something, but they don't understand the nuances. Those that you know Joe know he's a mad scientist. He's an amazing trader. He builds advanced auto trading algorithms on the S&P futures, and he's the creator of our indicators. You guys, these are the best that I've ever used. If you use them in conjunction with other things, that's fine as well. Go to cryptomastery.org for more information about those and how to get a free month. So with that, let me hop back over to the news. We'll wrap up the news here. Let's look at some hot movers. And let's see. So this is interesting. I do want to look at this. He's looking at the total market cap of the total market 3. So the altcoin market cap. So that's interesting. I follow the total market cap in general. So when we hit 3 trillion on the total market cap, that was the exact market top. We came down, we struggled at 2 trillion. We went down to 800 million, and on the way up, a trillion became resistance. We got above 2 trillion. So we're headed back toward 3 trillion on the total market cap. We'll unpack that more in tomorrow's class and where I think it could go and what we want to watch out for. If when we hit 3 trillion market cap again, we're going to see a pullback a bit. That'll probably be around 80K Bitcoin. Let's see. So things are turning red. Okay, so we'll have to see what's going on in the news. Things can certainly change in a heartbeat, so good thing we're live. New information equals new decision. Let's get over the news here and go over to see what's happening. There's the SEC seeking $2 billion fine from Ripple. This is spooking the markets, everybody. I'm sure of it. This is not good. They won the lawsuit, and price didn't go up. And why it is this happening? So we basically SEC demanding a fine of $2 billion from Ripple. look, Gensler got a call from Janet Yellen, who got a text. He got a she got a text from Joe Biden. Sorry, a text from her buddy Joe Biden. Pardon the pun there, and it said, "Hey, we need some money for the government to keep the doors open. Let's get Gensler running after some money." So he's after Ripple Labs. I don't know, you guys. I'm just speculating. All those guys are in cahoots. So as you see, the SEC summary made public tomorrow. They're asking a judge for $2 billion in fines, and they hear SEC continues to seek retribution to punish and intimidate Ripple and the industry in general. We believe the court will approach the solution phase fairly. But that sucks. Yeah, that sucks. Putting cold water on this rally, but I think that we'll push through it. SEC, led by Gensler, acted outside the law, they're arguing, admonishing judges for gross abuse of the authority entrusted to it by Congress. Good for them. And Brad Garlinghouse, he gets his facts wrong. So, unfortunately, I would rather this be said by somebody with a little more clout, but let's see. Let's also not forget Gensler's indifference to the FTX scam. So there's a good little jab. It's like a boxing match, everybody. It's Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. And Bitcoin is Mike Tyson. Jake Paul is, despite the age, is the SEC. Who knows? Let's see. So I'm skimming through as fast as I can, everybody. Co-founder Chris Larson said the following about the development. The balance of the SEC managed by Gensler has been disrupted. Prior SEC chairmen have come out and say they thought Bitcoin should be, given the green light. Nobody really knows why Gensler is so against this when he was a pro crypto instructor at MIT, right? So you have to wonder who's telling him what to do. The fact that the SEC alone considers itself above the law drags the USA farther behind the G20 countries. I know, should not be unnoticed in an election year. That's why we really need all of us to vote and be outspoken about who we vote for, because there's a lot at stake here, and we need more pro-crypto candidates. I won't go any farther than that. I just think, it's a shame to see that. That we're getting behind because of the the negative stance on all this. And if you'll remember on the chart that we have for the 10 factors that could take us to, where is it? To Bitcoin 100,000. I've lost it now. Hang on, guys. Let's get over to this because it's relevant. Here, what we need is country adoption, but we need political support in favor of Bitcoin and crypto. And I'm going to do this. You guys. I'm going to put another one right here. We do not have political support in favor of Bitcoin and crypto. We've got Cynthia Loomis is doing a great job. She's hopefully going to run for more office. Her state, they're burning the methane byproduct of converting oil into gas, using it to power Bitcoin mining rigs. Positive step. We have other candidates. Some are fairly polarizing. Won't get into that. But we need more pro-Bitcoin legislation to really see this push higher. And I think we'll see that. Okay. So let's jump back to the news. Wrap this up here. I'll check with the chat. And yeah, so Perry's saying, let me just move this over. Perry's saying, why is XRP viewed so much as a canary for the crypto arena? Yeah, that's a good question because they're really not decentralized. It's we're not a big proponent of Ripple. It's a centralized company. It's a centralized blockchain. So it's also true they've got huge adoption worldwide for payments, but it's not really decentralized. So I think that's kind of why the banks see it as a threat, so as they should. And so I saw a really good thing on Twitter the other day. It was by J.K. Rowling, creator of Harry Potter, said, "Could somebody please explain Bitcoin and crypto to me?" And basically somebody said, "Banks equals Voldemort, Harry equals Bitcoin." That was great. Anyway, let's just here to wrap up the news. Nvidia crypto token is up over 800%. Let's kind of see end on a positive note. Who is the NVIDIA of crypto? Render token. Okay, Render's one I've been talking about for a while. It is on our hot list. So Render is, and it is, yeah, Render has a very interesting project. It's in the AI sector. We'll look at Render. I do like Render. It's looking good here. So what they do is they basically, since all the GPU processing power is getting bought up by Facebook and Google, there's a shortage of GPU. Well, Render allows basically to use cloud GPU storage, sort of like Filecoin on using the DeepIn version of having cloud storage nodes. They're doing it for GPUs. So let's say that you've got extra unused GPU capacity. You could be part of ostensibly Render's network. What I don't know is if they're doing it through nodes only at a larger level, or you and I can sort of make our GPU available for to earn Render token, and democratizing access to high performance computer resources, because again there's a shortage of GPUs. By the way, guys, hopefully you can't hear the jackhammering going on. It feels like in this building here, and across the street they're doing massive construction. So it's if I stumble a little bit, I've got a jackhammer going on in my ear. So fortunately, I've got a good studio mic. Render token, Render Network attracted attention during the largest AI GPU technology event of the year. So that's probably why it was pumping recently. NVIDIA talking about that. Let's see. We've got Near Protocol, another good one. It is also on my list. I put out yesterday, and along with Render and let's see, OpenAI COO. Those are the two projects. I'll talk about another one certainly tomorrow. I'm going to be doubling down on some of these buy recommendations, so you definitely want to. Now's the time to figure out and go join Moonstream M3 Crypto. Again, it's daily picks, charts. I do share charts on a daily basis and recommendations, as well as I don't have that open, but in the private Signal chat, you guys. I'm talking to you guys every day over there. Many of our members are here. Let's see. We've got Fear and Greed back up to 81, Perry says. Okay, well, that that is also true. We're getting a little bit frothy. And I see what you're saying there. I mean, TradingView has its own version of the bubbles there. We could look at that, but I have the hot movers already up. All right, you guys, look, well, we've taken forever. What time? How are we doing on time? We've gone a little bit long. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go ahead and put the news away. And we're going to jump back. We looked at some charts. And if you guys want me to pull anything up, we can. But right now, I'm going to hop over to a watch list of our own and kind of see what is moving, skimming through these. And I'm going to come down briefly to give you a brief glimpse at the Retire Rich hot list here, because they've got some here. We've got ICP, we've got Fetch Coin. These are all setting up. They're selling off a little bit because of this news. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to look for the strength. I'm going to go into my own personal watch list. And let's do this. So I want to look at total market cap. So here's the danger here. I am very bullish, but if we put in a lower high, I'm going to have some egg on my face, you guys, because I put out publicly yesterday. Actually, it was just the night. It was Sunday night. I put out, that was the dip. We go higher. And we did on Bitcoin, but we're struggling a little bit here. We've got the total market cap at 2.5 trillion. We've got total 2, not including Bitcoin. This is the danger, everybody. Lower highs. And I just, at this point, if we get more weakness on this, then certainly we could come back down on this and retest the $1 trillion level here. This is total market cap 2, which is basically everything but Bitcoin. But it's showing, though, that out of the 2.5 total market cap minus total 2 leaves about 1.3 trillion. So Bitcoin's market cap is greater than the everything else. And let's see. I guess we can pull up total 3. I haven't looked at that in a while. It fell off my radar. So total 3 is total market cap, excluding Bitcoin and ETH. I'm going to add that to our watch list so that we can keep tabs on that here going forward. And let's see. Hold on, just going to move this up here, zoom that up. I got a lot of things on this watch list here. If you guys have any questions or want me to pull anything up, we can do that. And so that's total 3 market cap. And what was that guy saying? I thought it was saying that we were above $1 trillion. That's not true. Maybe it's total DeFi. I can't remember. Total DeFi. DeFi has been looking strong, you guys. Let's keep an eye on that. And a bit of we had an early ERI to the bearish side. Let me check a weekly, see if we have any macro trends. It's fine. It's fine. I want to know when we start seeing it break out. So what we could see on a breakout above here, I'll add an alert. Then that would be a good time to be jumping into some DeFi coins potentially. None of this is financial advice, but wow, look at that. Certainly Phantom and File down. They were up this morning. So let's take a look at what's going on, and I'll just hop over to see what the news is saying. So Bitcoin sentiment returns to extreme greed. Gotcha. So why? Yeah, it's not clear why Bitcoin's largely unchanged. Why are the altcoins selling off? That's what I'd like to know. But it's not too bad, everybody. Let me do this. I want to get to a chart where we've got our mover indicator so we can keep an eye on this a little bit better and show the signals. So let me come back. We've got micro caps here. Anything up today? Look, it's a profit taking day. It's a rest day. We had an up day yesterday. They can't all be green days, everybody. All right, so what do we see? Phantom coin. Well, look, it's up at the upper trend channel. This would have been a nice little profit-taking zone, and looks like we're pushing higher. I'm not selling Phantom coin. This is a great project. It was our #1 pick in January of 2021. Went up 18,000%, everybody. So we're counting on much bigger gains on Phantom. Let's see. Phantom prepares to launch Sonic, enabling 2,000 transactions per second. I mean, it's fast. It's kind of embarrassing in the sense that, though, it's nowhere near as fast as Solana. And, of course, Solana ready to bring out its Fire Dancer protocol, which promises 500,000 to 1 million transactions per second. So, you know what? I'll dig into that briefly because we do like Phantom Coin and Elevate because they might be in a certain niche. So sub-second finality, well, that's interesting. 200 TPS, though, up to 2,000 TPS. It's in the right direction, but it's really not that fast. But anyway, they have some other things going on. I won't go too far into this. And price predictions. I do think, look, if it pulls back, there's buy blocks down here at 75 cents. It's not a bad thing, you guys. It's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just a thing. This is where you would buy the dip. Why this will not keep my tool on the thing I want. So 30% possible on Phantom. I would buy more there, to be honest. And I did buy back in here. Caught this little bounce. So with that in mind, I won't give price predictions here. We do cover that in M3 and our Retire Rich classes that you can learn more about on the moonstream.io website. But look at this. It's in an overbought area. I might take some profits here just as the reasonable thing to do, but I won't sell all of it. Look at how it's running into prior support back around this dollar mark. I want to see it hold above $1 as new support. That's what we want to see. But Phantom Coin still looking good in the long term. I mean, this is a normal pullback here. We've got Filecoin struggled a little bit here up this take profit area with some sell blocks on the weekly time frame, but daily still looks good on Filecoin. This one of my favorite chart patterns, by the way. Let me make sure you can see this. I'm not covering the chart. So when we see, for just simple things, the 21-day exponential moving average curving slightly higher and had found support on the 50-day exponential moving average. We have an early reversal indicator, again, on the daily basis here on Filecoin, followed by our signal, the trend indicator going higher. All right, so how do you guys, by the way, if you want to get a copy of our trade success checklist for free, go to moonstream.io and come down to the bottom, have some free resources. You can sign up for our weekly newsletter that goes out on Monday, and also these classes. So you can either join on Zoom or here on YouTube. We're going to be going live every Tuesday at noon Eastern, so you can register for that. So make sure you do that. Plus, we send out other free reports and education, and also the trader success checklist. So what does that look like? All you have to do is opt in there, and instead of doing that again, I think I have the direct URL. So let me just pull that up here, and we'll do this. But you can go get yours at cryptomastery.org/cm-checklist. But just go to our main website. So what do we call that thing? The free checklist? Free checklist, I believe. Does that work? There we go. My memory did not fail me, even at my age, everybody. So what this is, it's an interactive PDF that you'll need to download, and then it becomes more interactive. So check this out. That didn't work at all. What happened there? I've got to open it up here in my downloads. There we go. So now what you can do is check this off. So bear with me, you guys. This is important. And even if you don't have our indicators, it's better if you do. You can use this checklist for your trades, because if we scroll down past our custom indicators, you can look for things like, is there a bullish engulfing candle? Okay, is there a candle body at support? So this is both on above an EMA. Is the price above the 21 and 50 period EMA? This was here. When you start seeing a trade success score of 3 or above, generally I would take that trade, and sometimes 2 or above. Our favorite indicator is that ERI I told you about, the little arrow, which is, there's actually a lot of math and quant work behind it, including a Keltner channel, and I won't get into it. But the simple version, green arrow. Green arrow up, red arrow down. Is the TSI green? That's that secondary one, remember? So if you're new to all this, it doesn't have to be complicated, except that's not the chart I wanted to show you. Hang on a sec, let me come back to this. And where was that other chart I wanted to show you guys? I got a million things open, you guys. Forgive me. Phantom coin, maybe this is it. This is what I wanted to show you. No, Filecoin. I apologize. Here it is. So TSI, ERI here, TSI here. That's it for me. I'm in the trade. If you got ERI and the TSI is green and above the 20 line, I'm usually in that trade, and that's why we released a whole bunch of new trade alerts yesterday. There's no longer a jackhammer. I'm not sure what the noise is. They're hammer drilling through the wall. Perfect timing on our first live YouTube ever, everybody. Thank you to the universe. Hey, if it were easy, everyone would be doing it. Isn't that right? Says the signal lines turn from red to green. So earlier in the stream, I said our 4 horsemen, as we call them, are the ERI, TSI. The third one is called the signal line. And so I'm going to come down and grab that. We also have pro versions of these, but you don't need to start there. The signal line is down here. These are all invite only. And then our trend indicator is the 4th horseman. So when you start to see these align, by the way, there's not this many that we have for sale. We just have a bunch of test ones that I can't seem to undo. And I believe this is the trend indicator. Okay, thanks for bearing with me. So when these align, the ERI, TSI, signal, and bell, I'll turn this one off. The third is the signal. So this has not gone green yet. How do you read these? If you're like, Brett, this is too complicated, here's how you do it. If you get the ERI and the TSI green above 20, you start to buy there. This is educational, not financial advice, but this is where we start to buy. Professionals build positions. Keep some powder dry on the sidelines. And then when we get this signal line going green, let's go back in time. Let's see how this played out here. Let's do this together. We'll do the replay. And we'll go all the way back here. And let me go full screen for you guys. So let's say we're all the way back here, and I'll get rid of these cell blocks up ahead. Now we're in Filecoin. Now we see an ERI go green, and we see this start to go green right there. So I didn't quite do it right. I should have extended this later. But let's say we started building a position here, and we bought. Okay? And again, we're in late. We should have bought here and there, but the signal line just went green there. So let's just buy 2, because we would have been in already, and then we let this play out a little bit. This is how you can backtest these things. And then at some point I need to turn on my signal line. So I missed it again, you guys. We have the bell So even though I'm late, I'm going to buy another one. We're getting in late. We would have been buying in the ERI, TSI, Signal, and Bell. We would have been in earlier. But even though we're in late, we're going to let this play out until we see some bearish signals. And I see a red ERI. So you might be saying, Brett, don't you sell? Nope. Your confirmation is when the TSI goes red and goes down. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slow this down a little bit with the fast forward. So I'll do that. So there we have another buy signal with our ERI Pro buy block. So we're still in this trade. Here we don't have anything bearish yet. What are we waiting for? Waiting for a red ERI and the TSI below 20. This thing continues to go higher. So we're up into a sell zone now. One of our other indicators it would say to sell, but we're not. We're still in. There's the sell block. Now, we would have probably started selling in the sell block up above, so I'll sell one of those positions. I'm getting the ERI. I'm going to wait for the TSI. Again, I'm being very sloppy with this. I'm doing a bad job. I'm waiting, and I'm doing this late, but hey, look at that. It's still going a little bit higher. There. So what I'm watching, now we have the sell on the TSI and the Signal. You see these two here? Just breaking below 80. Just going red. Okay, so now I'm going to sell to. I think we're even now on this trade. So let's just see what happens. And now we've gone red. Red on the red on the trend indicator is not to go short. It just means there's no trend. So basically we're out. No, I'm -1, so I don't want that. So we're even. So basically, I shouldn't have bought. This is not a buy. That would have been getting out of the trade. Okay, so buy. Why did it do that? So we're buying and selling to indicate this buy right here. So basically, at the end, if I play this, we'll see how well did that trade do for us. And then we had another. See, congrats, trader. We had an 80% win rate. How about them apples? Sorry, getting a phone call here. So basically, that's how powerful these indicators are. The four horsemen. That's what we call them. So the way that the trade success checklist works is you come in, and if you see ERI TSI, then you're buying. You're getting into the trade. I have a very persistent spammer calling me on the phone here, so I forgot to put my phone in airplane mode. All kinds of obstacles here, but we are resourceful. We'll continue. And anyway, so basically, as the signal line turned from red to green, that was the where you would add to the trade. Sorry, you guys. I have somebody continuing to text me here, and well, be sure and call them back later and yell at them. So as the trend indicator showing a bell, and we saw that it was, so that was where we would leg into that trade here. So there you go. And then does the trend indicator have a green midline? So these are all things you can add to the trade. I'm just looking at my timing here. And does the trend indicator, so these are all things you would add to your trend score as the trend success or the trade success checklist goes higher, you add to the position, or it just builds your confidence. Okay, and then when you start to see the bearish ones, then that will lower the score. So we haven't talked about the rocket yet. The rocket's one of our favorite indicators. We'll look for that next. And you can see on the ERI Pro indicator, we have buy blocks. That's for you guys that are a little more active traders. And I'll show you our Bollinger Band indicator. This class is also a training for our Crypto Mastery members. But and I'm going to talk about the radar and the ATR, the dynamic ATR. So we have bearish versions and bullish versions. Since we're short on time, I want to get back over to this. And let's talk about some of these other indicators here and clear these out. So the Bollinger Band, now if you'd like to find out more about the basic indicators, the ATR is the average true range. You can use that as your trailing stop loss. So down here, it turned into entry zone, probably around where other indicators said to get in. We had a key and a bell there. So if you were in this trade, you'd still be in this trade on Filecoin because it never went bearish. It pulled back here. This is a good thing to use for. Now, you might have been stopped out down here, but you likely would have gotten back in the trade with the ERI going green. Typically, we use the ATR as our stop loss or a time to get out of the trade because usually when it goes to exit mode, they go lower. This works in all time frames. It's fractal. That's what you use. And we also use Bollinger Bands for our sell signals on the upside. I use a modified Bollinger Band that you guys know about. I tell you how to modify that in our private classes, but we have created our own recently. This is the Bollinger Band Pro. Essentially, when it gets up and touches this red line up top, this is a modified Bollinger Band. Invariably, it sells off. Okay, so up here it broke above. You see this vertical red line. That also tells us when the real body gets above the upper Bollinger Band. This is a take profit signal. Over here, take profit, sold off. Take profit, sold off. Take profit above the red Bollinger Band, sold off. Every time, you guys, every time. 1, 2, 3, sold off, sold off. And here, vertical red line, sold off. The opposite is also true on this Bollinger Band Pro. I'll just turn off the ERI. If you're saying, what do I do? There's so many. Each one builds confidence on the other. If you see a green line, it means it's oversold and it'll go sideways or it'll push up and revert to the mean. Okay, so this is an invaluable tool, though, for taking profits on the way up. So everyone asks, where do we take profits? When you touch the upper Bollinger Band and at these other resistance levels. Okay, so if you want to find out more about those, that's moonstream.io/masterypro. Those are brand new. We're going to do a webinar on those this Friday. So go ahead, make sure you go, if you're watching this, sign up for our newsletter on our free website at moonstream.io, and we'll be announcing the webinar this Friday to everyone on our newsletter list. And Myrene, surprise, we need to set up a webinar for Friday to do that. I haven't told my assistant yet. So we'll be doing that live. I want to get through the rest of this shows, you guys, and finish off on some of the training. The radar, I want to make sure you guys are familiar with the radar too. This comes with the basic set of indicators. When this is all green, it's time to buy. When it's all red, it's time to sell. Right now we're mixed, so we kind of leave that off. But this is also one of our sell indicators. In multiple time frames, you can change these in the settings to go a little longer. I use a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, right? So you can edit these to shorter time frames if you're a swing trader, but and the default is a 4-hour daily, weekly, monthly. But again, when these are based on a modified stochastic, when they all go red, you don't want to be going long. You want to be short. When they're all green, you don't want to be short. You want to be long. Pretty simple stuff, you guys. And so with that, what else do I want to show you? I want to show you the rocket. How many of you guys are familiar with the rocket? It's one of these accidental discoveries that I've seen the pattern on for years, and it's a huge indicator that no one else talks about because nobody else knows about it. And we coded it so that we can see when these rockets happen. And what it means is that usually the price is about to go higher significantly. Let's take a look at a couple of the rockets here. Call it rocket on the launch pad because when we find these, here's 2 in a row, which is also very rare. But look what happened after. How would you like an indicator that would show you when it's about to go higher and shoot up in the sky? These are sitting at, this is an ideal rocket. It's sitting on a launch pad. The 21-day EMA. Down here, we had like some trend line support. The whole point is it's like a bottle rocket. It's sitting on a launch pad, and all you have to do is go light the fuse, and all the rocket fuel in here shoots it up into the sky. The more rocket fuel, the higher it typically goes. But look what happened. We came down here. We lit 2 rockets. They shot up in the sky, ran out of fuel, came back down to Earth. These are indications that price is about to go much higher. You can visually see these. It's a little harder to code on trend and support levels like these, so we mostly have it coded on the exponential moving averages. But you can see this again. This is also bullish engulfing. Has a little tiny wick, but lots of rocket fuel. Shoots up in the sky. One of our favorite indicators that we like, and I know you guys love. Here's another one. Now they don't always play out. Problem with this one is, and we had this coded in ChatGPT. It's a little tiny wick, and it's below the launch pad. I would have not taken that trade. When they're sitting right on the launch pad, look at this. Here's all in the checklist. Where did that thing go? Here. I put that right. So it's all explained in the free checklist, by the way. So you can eyeball these right in here. Rocket on the launch pad, has to sit on the launch pad. 21-day EMA. Those are my favorite. Okay, you guys. Well, with that, I do want to spend a little bit of time on the pro indicators here, just so you guys are aware. So what is included in the pro indicators? We have the order block detector. We have the rocket that I just showed you, the ERI Pro, which has the order blocks. Now we have the Trend Pro that we haven't really talked to you guys about too much. That is our trend indicator, but it sits right on the chart. Let me turn off the Bollingers so it's not too confusing. Now we are working on, we also have a Signal Pro, and so bear with me. Now you don't need to have all these on at one time to learn these. So basically, you'll learn these over time, and then you can toggle them on and off. The Trend Pro is that same as the trend indicator down below, but you can just overlay it on the charts. And every time there's a bell signal, it shows you, hey, this is a buy with a vertical green line. So if you're a little bit not understanding all of these things, we've tried to make this easy, okay, with the Bollinger Pro and the Trend Pro. So in this case, you'd be looking to buy on the vertical green lines. At the bell, price goes up. Another bell, price goes up. But we'd have a red line. You might sell half your position here because it broke the upper Bollinger. Staying in half the position is usually a good idea. We had another buy signal here. Took a little dip, but then we came on up here to the little bag of money, which is also a good take profit level. But along the way, you can see there's just some pretty good buy points, especially if we zoom out. Catching the beginning of the trends is an excellent way to do it because usually the key bell sequences run in segments, and especially on the bigger coins like Bitcoin and Ethereum. So anyway, guys, what's going on? We're teetering, we're higher. What do you guys want me to, let's see, MicroStrategy stock breaks past 1860 to reach an all-time high. We are not going lower, everybody. Not on Bitcoin. You know, let the wolves eat XRP there for a while. I'll let them chew on that. But now we do have a sell block on Bitcoin. Here's the issue. We do not want a lower high. So new information, if we cannot hold, but right now we're sort of holding. I'm going to turn these off on that Trend Pro Bollinger Bands. By the way, somebody asked in the chat, so moonstream.io/mastery pro. These are the new indicators. You don't necessarily need both, but if you're trading these markets, I would say you want to have these. There's no fancy sales page, not even a video. These are brand new. There's a lifetime offer for $14.97, and we're going to sneak in a couple of extra pro indicators that we haven't given you guys yet. Some of you have signed up. This has been very popular, the lifetime, and or you can get a year for $4.97. That's going to switch soon to 6 months for $4.97, and lifetime goes bye-bye. It goes to $1,000 for the year. So we're sort of in beta, but again, these pro indicators are amazing. So that's cryptomastery.org/pro order. I'm sorry, we redirect that. It's Moonstream, either would work. Moonstream.io/mastery pro. Okay, for those pro indicators. Those of you who know, you know. $1,500 is a drop in the bucket of what you could have made that today and yesterday based on the signals that we had fire. Okay, so let's get back to it. So let's see, how do we read the tea leaves here? We were sandwiched in between sell blocks and buy blocks. We came right down to this buy zone. I did say 60K would hold, although I have this arrow potentially going down to 58K. A lot of buy down here. This is the 50-day EMA. You know, we could pull down again. We could see another dip, but I think this is more likely that this is the extent of it. But ETF money. And now, where did that news article go I meant to share with you? There is a company, an investment company, South American investment company, alleging they're going to put over $1 billion into Bitcoin. And so I have to dig for that. We thought it was on the other page. If anybody can Google that, and I'll pull it up in the chat. All right, let me just see. Helium, what happened? I don't know, David. Let's see. What happened to Helium? Say it isn't so. Look, I mean, these are short-term swings. Yeah, I don't know what's happening with Helium. This is a bearish chart, so I would not have been buying Helium, but it's in a buy zone. I would not sell this. This is where the crypto tourists are going to sell. We have support right back at an old rocket range. That's a new level, old rocket support. Look, Helium's just cycling down. Helium will run again. I don't see any news here on Helium. Is there any news? It's just, this is well positioned. I think it's just profit taking. We love Helium as a project. Strong support down below, unless there's some kind of news that hasn't hit yet. But in the long run, it's going to come back. Helium is it's a leader in the deep end sector, you guys. I'm surprised to see it rolling over. Let's look at the weekly the weekly is also in a buy block zone. So you know what's happening. Look, it needs to cycle down. This thing will cycle down on this TSI. Look what happens when we get a bullish bounce out of the TSI level. We were calling this. We were saying buy in this range. Nice bottoming pattern on helium. You guys should be in profit right now if you've been listening to me back here in the end of last year. So, but look, here's what you want to watch for. When this TSI comes down and comes up out of the lower area. So helium has a couple weeks of consolidation maybe, and that would be the time to buy. But that's also why I didn't put it on my buy list last night, because that's what's the beautiful thing about these indicators, right? Because, you know, if it's not going bullish, if it's not green above 20, I'm not buying. Okay? You could certainly hold here. I would hold to your guns. David, you know, I would not worry here. I'd be getting ready to buy more. And $6 helium, you know, in this range, it'll certainly double back up in these ranges later. It's a good project. Not financial advice. That's my opinion. All right, Q. The buy blocks are actually dynamic based on the algos changing them as market conditions change. Correct. That's correct, Perry. They're not set in stone. The buy blocks. Now, I'll clarify that though. The buy blocks on the. I need to go to a different chart here. The buy blocks that are showing where the buy orders are now, these are dynamic and they're based on exchange. So we see buy orders on Gemini here. If we were to go over to, say, Phantom's not on Coinbase yet, but if we were to go, say, over to Kraken, it's similar, you know, but I would, if you're really serious about a trade, I would pull up some of the major exchanges to see where the buy blocks are. Now, let's look at, in contrast to the ERI Pro, the lighter green are where there was buying happened. That's where money flow came in and really supported this candle. So with that, this has confluence of buy zones. There's buy orders here, and we saw buys back here. Currently, we're still riding on Filecoin. You know, a little bit of a rest here, guys. We just pushed up a couple days in a row. And some of this news is dampening the enthusiasm, but, you know, I'm not worried. I like both those projects. AVAX, you know, getting a little bit of sell pressure. We are getting a bullish ERI, though, on the TSI, and it's sort of mixed signals. So I'm holding AVAX. I'm not buying more, but it's sort of in these higher zones here. And has higher to go. We go all the way back. It's not price discovery. It's got a way to go, but I do like it's broken above recent resistance and it's flipping as support. So that's why I like AVAX here. How are we doing on time, everybody? I got my clock. We're coming up in 2 hours. It's a really long class, you guys. By the way, if you're still with us, be sure and hit that like button for me. Do me a favor, giving it my all here today, and we want to continue doing these, and that really helps us. And so go ahead and do that now. Please hit subscribe. Add a comment too if you'd like us to talk about anything. And I see that we have a link in there. Thank you, team, for putting that in the live stream chat. And this is our first live stream, so many of you don't know about it yet. What else do we have here? So, look, we've got some pulling down. GeoJam, these are some I'm watching. It was up yesterday. Now it's down. No big deal. Let's see. Let's take a look at some AI coins, shall we? Fetch AI. By the way, this was one of my buy picks yesterday. Fetch looking strong. And looking strong, how many ways is it looking good here? Let's look at our ERI Pro. We had buy blocks back here. TSI going green, looking solid there. Signal line hasn't gone green yet. This signifies it has more room to go. And if we put the Trend Pro on there, we are just starting to get a new trend. Let's talk about that. So again, the trend is similar to the Trend Pro. What we want to look for is the midline going green. And when it goes green, then we look for a key and we look for a bell with a vertical line. That confirms our buy. We don't have it yet. So what am I doing on Fetch? I do not hold Fetch yet. I've been recommending it. By the way, we don't front run our picks. I'll disclose when I own some of these, when I do, and when I'm buying. I will be likely buying some today. So we didn't have an ERI because it's down here. That's all right. I have my TSI going green, and we're riding up above bullish engulfing candles. So we have that on the trader success checklist. So we'd go check that. So I would be buying Fetchcoin here, not financial advice, just based on the charts and our indicators. And I'd be adding to that when we see the signal line go green and when I get a key and a bell. Pretty simple stuff, you guys. Once you learn what to look for, you could train your 8th grader to trade for you, and you would beat most fund managers. I dare anyone to try it. I bet you would. So let's see. Somebody's saying, which of these Render, Solana, Ether, and Bitcoin is better profit in the future? Maria, I can't give, that's, since it's one to many, I'll give you my opinion based on the charts. How about that? And what we will talk about, somebody's saying hammer's not audible. I don't know what you mean by that. Leslie, maybe you could clarify. Let's take a look at some of these, though. You said hammer, Render, Solana, Ether, and Bitcoin. Well, here's the thing. On an ROI basis, even if Bitcoin doubles, and by the way, we still have to get to that other study. Stick around to the end. We're going to end with that. Bitcoin, let's say that it goes to 150K, certainly possible. That's a 2x. And if you have $10,000, you could double it. Probably not your highest ROI, but the safest because it's been deemed a security. If you put it in Ether, there's some debate on whether Ether gets the ETF. If it does, it'll go to 15K, let's say. If it doesn't, maybe it goes to 10K. It barely hit 4, so if it goes to 10K, it's maybe a double there as well on Ether. Solana, much bigger potential ROI, in my opinion, based on the chart. And let's pull up Solana real quick, because hitting some sell pressure in here over 200. By the way, those of you who've been with us for a long time, I first recommended Solana August 1st, 2021, and it went up 657%. We have been also watching it and recommending buys all the way back here in November on Solana. So this has had a good run, but we're not even pushed up to 200. This is where I sold my Solana. I'm waiting to buy back in, and but I think it could go to 300 to 1,000. So easily a double, but I think 5x, maybe higher on Solana. Render, you're asking for better profit. That is a loaded question. It depends on your risk profile. Would you go, I would not pick one. I'd put a little in both. Maybe Solana Render, or a Fetch, like the one we just talked about. We are mostly red today. We'll look for strength. What's strength today? Fetch coin up 8% in a sea of red. Render's down. Near is in that other article. Near looks pretty good. We're on a daily time frame, going green on the TSI. Looky there. Getting a bit of sell pressure on the order block. Okay, I would probably wait on that. I look for these to align. And Sway looking pretty good. Apparently that's how you pronounce it, Sway, not Sui. But you asked about Render specifically. So Render sounds like surrender. I don't see Render as a buy right now. We have our ERI. Yes, we're above a 21-day EMA, but we don't have a confirming TSI yet. It looks like it wants to, but it feels a little weak. I would currently, neither of the above look the strongest to me, to be honest. And I just strictly go by the indicators. I've learned to trust these implicitly, and many of our members have as well. So hopefully that happens. Let's see. You can't see the signal or trend. I apologize, David. Moving that over, but now we can. And so I'll keep it on this form here. So basically, signal and the trend. And so I turned off the trend. The Trend Pro is now, we're using the Trend Pro on the charts. All right, let's see. Perry says, I wonder if it'd be better off long-term if it was placed on the left side of the screen after news coverage is done. I don't know what you're referring to there. If it would be better long-term. Okay, you mean you mean me. Okay, I got you. I hear you. Well, if I put me over here, I could maybe do that real quick. I don't want to mess with things too much, but there is a way. Look at that. That's a little weird. Okay, here I am over on the left side of the screen. Hey, everybody. So there you go. Ask and you shall receive. So I'll just hang out over here for a little bit. That was kind of fun. So basically, and okay, Leslie, you guys wanted that. Sorry, I'm just hearing this. You guys can't hear the hammering. That's good. You know what? I've got a very good microphone here, and so the jackhammering is stopped, and the hammer drill, and the phone calls. Good to know. All right, that's just them torturing me alone. Story of my life, everybody. But the show must go on. Thanks for your time, Sharon. I'd like to learn more with your team. Thank you, Maria. Feel free to reach out. Just get on our list. You can reach out to us. By the way, if you are still here, if anybody has interest in working with me one-on-one, I do have a limited number of coaching private client groups. One of the things I do, and I have had a lot of people reach out for lately, is to help create a dollar cost averaging worksheet where we go in and help build an optimal portfolio for you. I cannot give you buy and sell advice, but I can show you what I would do as an optimal portfolio based on the indicators in the charts. And so whether you have 100,000, whether we have maybe it's 50,000, what we'll do is we'll go through and just allocate based on certain percentages. So it's an interactive worksheet that I would work with you together. And in the notes, say consider buying more, selling half, buying more here, based on the charts, strictly based on the charts. You'll make the decision ultimately. And so if you're interested in that, you can go over to the website, which is moonstream.io/coaching. It'll redirect you here. And so if you have interest in that, I can build that out with you, or we can do one-on-one coaching, which looks like this. A number of you are already in here. And no surprise, those of you getting the best results are private clients and in our coaching program. I have not pulled this up before. I wasn't going to do it here today, but I'm just going to log in here. If I can remember my password, whenever I log out, you have to go redo all these things. So much fun. So basically, this is what it looks like on the inside, and there's a nice look at my password manager. Wonderful. This is the coaching portal, and what I will do is kind of push this out of the way. There is training in here. We have one-on-one sessions, and there's modules in here for more advanced trading. If you really want help navigating this bull market, just there's two options. We can do coaching. I can help build out a worksheet like this for you to optimize the bull run. Just go to moonstream.io/coaching. There we go. Lots of different things you can learn about. You can learn about it all on our main website, moonstream.io. Hey guys, look, again, I'm here to help you. It's an a la carte buffet. Okay, we're not here to sell you everything we want you to buy. And we've been told that. People who have been with us, they know we have a little bit of everything depending where you are in this crypto journey. Maybe the newsletter is where you want to start with a once a month coin pick, and my business partner Mike does a great job with a once a month webinar and the newsletter, what's going on in crypto, and a coin pick. We've had stellar results on our coin picks in the past. Certainly this one has pulled back, but those of you who got in, this was our February pick. This went up 6x. I'm not apparently on the ETH pair. It was like 2x, but no, it was February 28th when we picked that, and on the US dollar pair, it's up 6x. This went up 300% if you had sold it on this. It's gearing up to run again, you guys, but this was our February pick. Had a huge run, potentially 6x on that. So I do have to pull that down. I'll leave that out too long. All right, so let's see. Could you say how to get those? Maria saying, yes, Maria, TSI and ERI, go to cryptomastery.org. And this is one of our brands under the Moonstream brands of services. It was a partnership we brought under our umbrella. So that's cryptomastery.org. You get access to these indicators. It's not to sound self-serving, but you need these. Otherwise, you're competing with all the rest of us that have them, and these give us an edge. And they're simple to use. We teach every Tuesday. You can come to these live classes. You get 6 indicators. You can read all about it here. And incidentally, these are included in the M3 Active Trader, which is a little bit more money. But we're doing this class on Wednesday, a little bit more in depth. And I'm also giving coin picks and updating on a daily basis in the private signal. So that's where you can get both. If you just want the indicators, that's cryptomastery.org. If you would like to join my M3 class, which is for active traders here, then that includes those indicators. This is $300 a month. Retire Rich, that's application only, but I just dumped a hot list of The portfolio additions for Retire Rich, that's basically buy and hold at a larger basis in hot sectors, emerging markets, and distressed assets, etc. You can read about it here. You have to email us for more information. There's no fancy sales page. We talk about metaverse. We give picks in the hot sectors like AI and crypto and metaverse, gaming, and future of ICOs, DAOs, crypto cities. This is if you're a more long-term holder and you have more capital to deploy, or you just want to be in it for the long haul and buying the next Netflixes and the next Amazons. So we're looking in these interests areas, metaverse, AI, all the things you see here, and all you have to do is email us at moonstreamvip@gmail.com. It's a little bit more of a bespoke service, and we can help you learn more and get involved. Okay? Again, something for everybody. That's all I'm going to say about that. And let me just finish up in the chat, you guys, and see how you're doing. Let's see the checklist for the regular indicators and the pro peri. They're sort of mixed in. And so I'm going to be updating the checklist for including the pro, because it's just a better version of that. And there are additional checklists. So you'll be able to see and still use it either way. You'll be able to see it either way. All right, so let's see. Oh, I see. That was the article, Neelam. But let's open that up. I guess I'm a bit behind on the chat, you guys. Let's see. South American gold miner Neelam Resources is not buying 1.7 billion in Bitcoin. Okay. Well, hey guys, it's crypto. I'm glad I didn't mention it, but so this was fake news. On March 25th, yesterday, news surfaced on the internet about Neelam Resources, South American gold mining company, and what is this? Is shift toward Bitcoin, detailed ambitious acquisition, 2,400 Bitcoin. However, yeah, we've got to see this. This falls exactly into what I was saying, though. Be very careful with news and the source. Okay, now I think probably this hit the wires and got picked up, but always question the source, because kind of like that Bill Ackerman is a good example. The guy that went on TV when the COVID pandemic was starting to hit, and he went on CNBC and he said, hell is coming, beware, sell all your stocks, this is going to be a bloodbath. Well, he was short the stock market. He made $1 billion by spooking the market. So even when I was watching him say that, and I was like, that old Shakespeare line, something along like she doth protest too much, or something like that. When people deny so vehemently, they look guilty. Well, that's exactly what I thought. I'm like, he's overplaying this a bit much. I wonder if he's short the market, and sure enough, he was. So that's a little bit of spidey sense to always put things in a frame of reference, and be a little bit healthy dose of skepticism. So the deal was supposed to mark $1 billion leap into cryptocurrencies involving Neelam and this $1 billion pump, but it was not. It was apparently a pump and dump to save a buying penny stock, is what it said up here. Where did I see this? Somewhere in here, but it's been debunked by industry leaders. And this stunt, need for due diligence and a market rip to speculation. So just be aware these things are going to happen. And again, back to that Cointelegraph, intern mistake that I'm sure the owners of Cointelegraph profited from handsomely. I don't know that, everybody. I'm just speculating. So if you're the owner of Cointelegraph and you're a Russian oligarch, don't put a hit on me. I'm just saying, it's crypto. and hey, and look at it. That's the thing. Caveat emptor, buyer beware. If they did, there's no regulations against it. So, as a savvy business move, I would say good job. As a crypto enthusiast that sort of hurt the industry, I'm like, that was not cool. But hey, save your business and pocket a bunch of money, as long as it's not blowing up the Twin Towers like the terrorists did. It's sort of in the gray area. It's on us And I'm just going to leave you with this. It's on us as crypto investors to just be aware and always be alert of what is real and what isn't. But I will say this, as I've said often and over again, show me the chart, I'll tell you the news. And what does the chart tell us? Well, we pumped yesterday, and now we sold off a little bit. This pump here, says there's good news out there, and then we're pulling off a little bit. Maybe this is partially from that thing being debunked, but I do think ETF money's still coming in. Look, that is the news where you need to pay attention to. And I'm watching this thing. It pulled back a little bit, but it's okay. We've got buy blocks. We are a little overbought on our indicators on the 4-hour, but things are looking good on the 12-hour. I think we have a pause day and getting a little bit of a breather. This is the daily chart, and the question I have on the IBIT, this is kind of like a vector candle here on yesterday. Typically, these will come back and retrace. So, even if we pull back a bit farther on the IBIT, I do think that this is just a short-term pullback. I think this goes higher, you guys. And I think it goes higher quickly. So we shall see. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I know you guys like me on the left, but I think I'm gonna go hang out. Where is it? I'm gonna go hang out back over here. Everything is reversed, so I'll keep that in mind for next time, everybody. So thanks very much for joining us, and hopefully it worked. Hopefully the stream is working for those of you. I don't know if anyone's actually on the live stream. This is our first one. We'll do more of these. It's quite a lot to set these up. So thanks for the team. Thanks to everyone for your questions and comments. And let's see, where did the Zoom chats go? Let me just make sure I catch up on anything we can't see. Slide, get that watch list. And I do understand the watch list helps. The crypto Wild West volatility brings opportunity, Perry says. Absolutely. We are so early. It's good. This is the time. The volatility is your friend with the indicators, because they basically show, and I didn't actually get a chance to show the volatility index. How come you guys didn't remind me? I will do this. How are we doing it? We're 2 hours, and the problem is these recordings take forever to render, but I don't want to leave you hanging. So let me do something real quick and show you on the Bitcoin. We'll go down to a 4-hour, and we're not going to let you go just yet because I want to show you that volatility index, which is part of the base indicators. This is excellent for the shorter time frames and basically as a contributing signal on catching swings. If you're a swing trader, like a 1-hour, 4-hour swing trader, the way to use the vol index, it's this one down at the bottom, coming out of oversold in turning black, bullish. Oversold area here, bullish, and similarly overbought above the green area, going back to black, is bearish. So if we just pull this down a little bit, down here we had it go bullish. It even got us in before the rockets and before the ERIs. So this was an early indication on the 4-hour chart before it actually took off. A couple times it got overbought, but here was a sell signal before it dumped here. And a couple of buy signals. I'm just looking at the vol index right in here, caught that little pump. And then, of course, this, when they align with our other ones, originally we had the 3 musketeers, and then we came out with more indicators. It was the 4 kings, and now we actually have 5. ERI, TSI, signal, bell, and the vol index. So right here on March 20th, right in this range is when it was saying to go in and buy on a 4-hour time frame. It's less likely, less often happening on the daily, but it does happen. And look at this epic buy signal back here, right with the TSI down the bottom of the market. Guys, you cannot afford not to have these. And if you have them and you're not fully utilizing them, hopefully today did a better job at explaining all of them and what they can do for your trading. So thanks very much, everybody. I will go ahead and sign off, and let's see. Oh, that's right, Stephen. Thank you. The new study on Bitcoin. I had so much to share with you guys today. And where was this? This is the DXY. We'll talk about that tomorrow in the M3 class. We talked about the halvings. Since it's our flagship class live, I did go a little deeper than we normally do on this class, but we talked about this. This is the new study. And let me just see, do I have it listed anywhere else? We won't talk about Pi Cycle Top today. This is on TradingView. You can find me at Brett Fogle here on TradingView. This is published. And essentially down below, I talk about what this is. So in that other study here where we looked at where the next cycle high could be based on the Fibonacci's, right? So the last cycle high we drew in 2017 to the low, and we sent it out. It called the exact top. It predicted the exact top in 2021 right there. Okay, so similarly, I'm doing the same. Doesn't mean it has to happen, but from the 2021 high to the low here and drawing it out, that shows us 155K, but on this bars pattern, but 210,000 on the 3.618. So, but I've revised, and that's for these 10 reasons. And you can find that study on TradingView as well. But here's my new one. So basically, what I've done here is taking this bars pattern here, these blue lines from a prior cycle, and kind of overlaid it on Bitcoin. And it overlays closely right in this range. And so also overlaying 100K from the prior chart. So 2.618, 3.618 takes us to that 210K, but I'm also saying 250K based on this bars pattern. All right, bear with me because we're just following the bars pattern here, and you've heard it said that it's and I don't really love this term. It's kind of a little bit lame, but it's crypto doesn't repeat, it rhymes. It's kind of silly, but it's sort of true. So basically, the blue is the bars pattern from a prior cycle. We kind of got a late start at these levels, came down, but then it started to coincide. Struggled a bit at 73K. We're pulling back here. Let's say we dip again to 67K, and then we blow right past 75, and we go straight up to this 90K area. I think these big round numbers certainly likely to pull back. It could even be 80K because there's some speculation that's the next cycle high. They're wrong. And then I think we go right up to 100K. And then who knows? Then who knows? We could see a deeper pullback at 100K, but then all the way up to 150, up to 210, and even 250. So this is pure speculation, everybody, but I'm going to let it run. I'm going to let that ride because I think that could be the 2025 high, 250K. I think we get to 155K this year at least, maybe 200K, 210. So look, let me know what you think, and if you like this study, it's over on TradingView. You can drop me a like there if you like. I kind of explain what I had to say there. All right, everybody, we'll keep you posted, and thank you, Perry, for the link there. It's in the chat, and let's see. I guess what I'll do is I'll also drop it in the YouTubes and see if that works, because apparently it does. I have this little cool chat thing that shows the live chat, and hopefully you guys will come join us on YouTube next time. Right now, for those of you that are members of Moonstream, you're coming in through Zoom, and so we're just hopefully the audio is not delayed either, because we got a bunch of technologies happening. Anyway, guys, I have to wrap things up. Thanks, everybody. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow. Those of you in M3 Active Trader, you can join in time. It is our highest level training for active traders. We do this on Wednesday. I give coin picks, and you can certainly pay for that. You get the indicators for free and the live training. It's $300 a month, or we do have quarterly specials on that. And if you can't make that money back in this bull run with all the tools, maybe this is not for you. It's the bargain of a century. Anyway, great little community, and thanks everyone. See you guys tomorrow, and in Retire Rich Inner Circle on Thursday. Mike is traveling. He's in Mexico, so it'll be me. And otherwise, we'll see everyone else back here next Tuesday. Bye, everyone. Take care.
Recording stopped.